Let us come to one question. Question number 60. A Limited is one of the party to joint operation holding 60% interest in joint operation and the balance 40% interest is held by another joint operator. A Limited has contributed an asset held by it to the joint operation for the activities to be conducted in joint operation. The carrying value of the asset sold was 100 and the asset was actually sold for rupees 80, that is loss of 20. How should A Limited account for the sale of asset to the joint operation in the books? Have you understood the question? Let us understand. We are doing question number 60. So what they are saying, A Limited and joint operation. A Limited has sold an asset whose carrying amount is equal to how much and sale price is equal to how much. So there is a loss of how much? 20. Correct. Understood. Means in joint operator the cost price will become what? 80. Understood. Correct now. Correct. Have you understood? Means if you see out of these, okay, you only say. I will not explain what to be done. I don't want to give any hint. Means they have asked what will be the accounting treatment in the books of A Limited. You have read that para. Just read the para once again and try to understand what can be the possible accounting treatment. Let's give me the journal entry in the books of A Limited. बोलो. Journal entry. Journal entry in the books of A Limited. Journal entry. हाँ, बैंक अकाउंट डेबिट. बैंक अकाउंट डेबिट 80. इन्वेस्टमेंट अकाउंट डेबिट. इन्वेस्टमेंट अकाउंट डेबिट 20. ना. Investment will not come in the books of A Limited. If you are saying investment means you have not understood. Whether investment will come. Investment will not come. Asset will come, share of asset will come. Liability will come, share of liability will come. Correct now. Bolo. Are you able to understand? I will say. You will not say. Chalo, thoda hint I will give. Hint. Can I say out of this 100, One hint I have given, 60% retain, because once again this there 60% will come. 60% retain na. I'm just giving hint. Means even though this become the asset of joint operator, but 60% will be retained by A Limited only, and effectively 40% sold. Effectively the 40% sold na. Effectively 40% sold. Now give me the journal entry. Bank account debit how much? 32 to asset 40 and loss on sale 8. This is correct journal entry. This is correct journal entry. Bolo. Have you understood? This is correct journal entry. अरे बोलना रे. Means can I say we cannot recognize any gain or loss on the portion retained? Can we recognize any gain or loss on the portion retained? The 60% was retained. Can we recognize any gain or loss on portion retained? Out of 100, 60% is retained now. So we cannot recognize any gain or loss on portion retained. Therefore, only gain or loss to the extent of the share of other party will be recognized. Understood? So what they have now said, now you will be able to understand. Ki when a joint operator sells or contribute any asset to the joint operator, it is in effect transacting with other party. Means it is in effect a transaction with other party, not with joint operator. In effect, the transaction is with other parties, and hence the joint operators are recognized gain or loss resulting from such transaction only to the extent of other party interest in the joint operation. Means to the extent of 40%, to the extent of 40%. Understood? Have you understood this point? Bolo. Any doubt? Correct? Chalo, we got one correct journal entry from live student. Have you understood? Chalo, very good. Now one para has been given. When the above transaction provide evidence of a reduction in NRV, net realizable value, of the asset to be sold or contributed to joint operation, or of an impairment loss of those assets, those losses have been recognized fully by the joint operator. Have you understood this point? What they are saying? Whenever there is an evidence of reduction in NRV, NRV they have used for inventory, means the asset transferred is an inventory. Correct now? So when the above transaction provide evidence of reduction in NRV or of an impairment loss. Impairment loss they have used for what? For property, plant and equipment, intangible asset or investment property. Correct. So whenever there is an evidence of reduction in NRV or impairment loss, then those losses shall be recognized fully by the joint operator. Means in this case, just try to understand when this is the question. So whether there is any evidence of impairment or evidence of reduction NRV, there is an evidence. When that evidence will come? When this sale price will be what? This sale price will be equal to fair value or not? Bolo yes or no? Evidence will come when the sale price will be equal to fair value. Not understood. Now just try to understand, when A Limited is doing any transaction with joint operation become a related party. Means we have some interest in that arrangement or not. So it means transfer can be done either at fair value or it can be done at less than fair value. Are you able to understand? Means if I say in this case the fair value is equal to 120, then of course there is no evidence of impairment. It is quite possible now fair value is equal to fair value is equal to 120, but we have transferred the asset at rupees 80 because we have some interest. Then it is quite possible that in this case there is no evidence of impairment. Therefore, full loss will not be recognized. But if I say fair value is equal to 80 or fair value is equal to 70, it is practically not possible, but let us assume. I hope you understand. Then there is an evidence of impairment, na? Then there is an evidence of impairment. The entire loss will be recognized. Entire loss will be recognized. Means, of course, in that case, we need to pass one more journal entry impairment loss to what? Asset. Means from this 60%, how much will reduce? Means the asset retained is 60%. Asset, how much will come in the balance sheet of ALM? 60%, 60 rupees. But out of that, what will be the loss recognized? 12. 12 will be also recognized as an impairment loss. Means entire loss will be recognized or not? Entire loss will be recognized. So if there is an evidence, I'm just writing because there is no evidence. In this particular question, there was no evidence. Why there was no evidence? Because they have not given fair value. So you can't assume by your own that transaction is done at fair value. Correct? So I can say there is no evidence of impairment. Correct? And therefore in this answer I think they have not said anything about impairment. Check kar lo. You can check it. So but you can write in this way. After this journal entry, if you want to write down a better answer, if there is no evidence of what? Impairment. No journal entry. But if there is evidence of impairment, let us assume fair value is equal to also 80. Got it? Now fair value, if fair value is equal to uh, 90, whether there is any evidence of impairment, then also there is an evidence of impairment, huh? Because the carrying amount is what? 100. Are you able to understand? Correct? Correct. So let us assume fair value is equal to T, then entire impairment loss. Then what journal entry you'll do? Impairment loss account debit 12 to asset na 12. Have you understood this point? So it means entire loss has been recognized. You can see 8 plus 12, how much? 20. Got it? You can compound this journal entry. Means you can pass one compound journal entry. What journal entry you'll do? Bank account debit 32, loss 20, to asset was 40 plus 12, how much? 52. You can do one compound journal entry, but you can do in this way also. Have you understood? Good question. One more point. This is from joint operator to joint operation. It can be vice versa also, reverse. From joint operation to what? Joint operator means they can be purchased from joint operation. Then in that case what? Accounting for purchase of asset from a joint operation in separate and consolidated financial statement of joint operator. What they want to say means separate and consolidated finances entry remains same. Entry remains same na. In separate and consolidated finances statement entry remains same. बोला yes or no? Got it? What I am saying? This point have you understood now? When a joint operator purchase any asset from a joint operation, it shall not recognize. It shall not recognize its share of gain or loss until it resell those assets to a third party. Have you understood? Now so you will do by your own. What is it? It shall not recognize its share of any gain or loss until it resell the those assets to a third party. Let us take one question. A Limited is one of the party to joint operation holding 60% interest in joint operation and the balance 40% interest held by another joint operation. A Limited has purchased an asset from the joint operation. The carrying amount of the asset in the books of joint operation was 100 and the asset was actually purchased at rupees 80 at a loss of 20. How should A Limited account for the purchase of the asset from joint operation in the books? Have you understood the question? Question remains same but vice versa. So now what happened? We are doing question number 62 na 61. So A Limited and joint operation. Now there is a sale like this means A Limited has purchased, correct. What is the carrying amount? 100. What is the sale price? 80 and loss 20. So can I say I'll not give hint. You give me the journal entry. No entry is wrong. No entry is wrong. No entry is not correct. Well, asset account debit to bank. How much? 32. 100% correct. Means if you think you will get correct answer na. If you think rationally you will get correct answer. अरे बताओ 60% तो already coming ना. 60% means 60 is already coming in the balance sheet. So they will not purchase their own interest. Whether they will purchase their own interest? No. So this 60 is already coming. Means they have purchased 40%. 40% now. And they will pay 40% only. Means asset account debit to bank. Asset account debit to bank. Got it? Understood. Means now the carrying amount of this asset will be what? 60 plus 32. Means it is now coming 92. It means you can see they have recognized only loss to the extent of other party shares. Automatically recognized na 100 become how much? 100 become how much? 100 become what? 92. Automatically recognized na. Now if this is sold to other party at rupees 80 only, then they will recognize their share of loss. Means if that is sold to 80, suppose in this price only, let us assume, then what journal entry they will do? Bank account how much? 80. Asset how much? 2 what? Loss how much? 12. Automatically it will be recognized when this is sold to third party. Have you understood? But this is the answer. Got it? Chale. With this what we have completed? 111 is completed.